So friends, today in class we read about fish and that fish are animals. And now we get our fictional story about fish. Fictional is a book that we're going to enjoy, and it tells a story and has a beginning, middle, and end to that story. We're going to read Clark the Shark because sharks are fish, and I like this book. Here we go. In all the wide blue seas and all the wide blue world, the top school for fish was Theodore Rooster Fish Elementary. And of all the fish at Theodore Rooster Fish, the biggest and strongest was Clark the Shark. Clark loved school, and he loved his teacher, Mrs. Inkydink. He loved to play upsy-downsy and spin-a-majig with his friends. Clark loved his life. "School is awesome!" shouted Clark the Shark. "Less shouting, more reading," said Mrs. Inkydink. I kind of wish my name was Mrs. Inkydink. That's a great name. "Lunchtime is sweet!" yelled Clark the Shark. "Munch your own lunch," said his best friend, Joey Mackerel. "Recess rocks!" bellowed Clark the Shark. You're playing rough, Clark," cried the other kids. Yes, Clark loved his life with all his sharky heart, but he loved everything way too much. He was too loud. He was too wild. He was just too much shark for the other fish to handle. After a while, no one would play with Clark. No one ate lunch with him. No one sat with him at circle time. Even his best friend, Joey Mackerel, said, "Cool your jets, Clark. You're making me crazy." One day, Clark asked Mrs. Inkydink, "What's wrong with everyone?" Mrs. Inkydink patted his fin. "Clark, sometimes you play too hard. You munch too hard, and gosh, you even help too hard." "But life is so exciting," said Clark. "There's a time and a place for everything," said Mrs. Inkydink, "and sometimes the rule is stay cool." At recess, Clark tried to stay cool, but he pushed the swing with too much zing. "Sorry," said Clark. "I forgot." "Yikes," said Joey Mackerel. At lunch, Clark tried to stay cool, but everything smelled so good that he munched a bunch of lunches. "Sorry," said Clark. "I forgot." "We're starving," said his friends. In class, Clark tried to stay cool, but a good book got him all shook up. "Now, Clark," said Mrs. Inkydink, "this isn't the time or place. Tell me, what's the rule?" "Stay cool," said Clark. "Hey, that rhymes," he cried. Then Clark got a big idea in his sharky head. "Maybe if I make a rhyme, I'll remember every time," he said. The next day, he put his plan to work. In class, when lessons got exciting, Clark wanted to bounce up out of his seat. Instead, he told himself, "When teacher's talking, don't go walking." And what do you know? It worked. "Attaboy, Clark," said Mrs. Inkydink. Clark smiled. "Lessons are fun." At lunch, everything smelled so yummy. When Clark wanted to eat and never stop, he told himself, "Only munch your own lunch." "Way to go, Clark," said his friends. Clark grinned. "Lunch is fun." At playtime, Clark told himself, "Easy does it, that's the way. Then my friends will let me play." And playtime was fun. Once more, Clark loved his life. But then a shadow fell across the playground, a ginormous shadow with tentacles galore. "It's a new kid, and he looks scary," cried Joey Mackerel. "Swim for your lives!" The squids washed the slide and snapped off the swings. "Oops, my bad," said the kid. "Wait," said Clark. "He just wants to play. Let's find a way." And he swam at the new kid with all his might. Clark played harder than he ever played before, upsy-downsy and swing-a-majig. Why, he even made up a new game, Tail-wumpa-lumpus. "Wow, that was fun," said the new kid breathlessly, and he settled down. If you want to come to school, you got to play it cool, said Clark. That's right, Clark, said Mrs. Inky-Dink. And thanks for taking care of our new classmates, said the squid. Hooray for Clark the shark, everyone cheered. That night, Clark's mother asked, What did you learn at school, dear? There's a time and a place for everything, Clark said. Sometimes you stay cool. But sometimes a shark's gotta do what a shark's gotta do. All right, so that was our fun, enjoyable book, Clark the Shark. It had a beginning, middle, and, I went the wrong way, beginning, middle, and end. At the beginning, Clark was kind of aggressive and very wild and loud, and he wanted to go after everything and just be very crazy about things. In the middle, Clark learned about it being important to calm himself and he came up with a rhyme as to how he could stay cool, as Mrs. Inky-Dink said. And then at the end, a new kid came, and he was able to play rough with that kid because that kid was able to do it. And then he was able to go back to class and teach the kid how to be calm in class, which was really important. So we have a beginning, middle, and end because we have a story, and we learn about it, but we're not really learning facts because we didn't learn anything about fish or really about sharks, but it helps us to understand other things. It's also fictional because sharks don't wear clothes. They also can't talk. They don't go to school. So there's lots of fictional things in that story. And those pictures, well, those were great illustrations. I love how all of those have like a blue color to them because they're all underwater. So they all have a really pretty blue color. But they're not photographs because this was not a real story. It was about real things. All right, hopefully you enjoyed that. And now you can write your fact about fish that you learned after reading Fish Are Animals.